Hey guys, welcome back to Give Forward. My name's Paul and today we're taking a look at the Mini X3 from Trustfire. But first, a quick disclaimer, this light was provided for review by Trustfire. They didn't receive any input into the review process. This is all my opinions, but I will keep in mind that there is some kind of subconscious bias at times, and I will do my best to be upfront about any of that. Now, in terms of them providing the light, they did not provide any financial compensation. However, they did provide a link and a discount code for you guys to use, which I will leave in the description box down below. So let's get cracking and take a look at the Mini X3. First of all, let's take a look at the design and the size. So starting off with a size comparison, which is quite hard because I'm balancing it on top of its clip. Up top we have a 91mm Simon knife, and down below a 58mm Classic. And swapping that out for something a little bit more flashlight relevant, we have a AA and a AAA battery. And on the thickness side of things, there we go. Now, in terms of the design, we have two ways of interacting with the flashlight. Here we have this big rubberized button, which actually does have a green and red light beneath it. And we have this 3-position side switch. Nice and clicky. We have a deep carry clip with a reversible portion. Now, that is very nice and deep when this is in your pocket. Basically, the only thing that's going to be showing is the very top of the clip and this raised portion. We have some grooving on the sides for grip, and this does actually hold very well. The clip is a little bit of a hot spot, but it also acts to anchor your hand as well. We also have a magnetic base on the back here, which lets it stick confidently to any metal surfaces that are actually big enough for it. And because it's flat, it does also tail stand very nicely. Now, that tail standing is always nice, but it's even more useful in this regard because you do see we do have a side lamp here on the back. And on the front, you can see that we have basically 3 different emitters. We have a white light, a UV light, and a laser emitter on the front, as well as some just very nice bronze coppery accents that give it a quite stylish look overall. Now, a relevant point of comparison is going to be the Olight Arcfeld. The most appropriate would be the Arcfeld Pro, but I only have the original and the UV on hand. So let's go ahead and take a quick comparison there. Now, the Arcfeld is going to be longer. It is going to be thicker because it has to round out a little bit more to accommodate for that MCC charging port. And whilst it's hard to make a straightforward comparison without the Pro model, I would say that the weight is pretty on par, but the Trustfire is a little denser. Now, on the Trustfire, as we don't have that magnetic charging, we do have a Type-C port hiding behind this flap. And I gotta say, we'll come back to this more in the good, but this USB-C flap and port is pretty well designed. I am a fan of it. Now let's jump on into the UI. The UI is going to be split between the button and the switch. The switch dictates what emitter you use, and then the button handles on off, and then subsequently handles the brightness changes. So let's take a quick look at the markings. So the middle position is going to be your white light and UV. The front is going to be your laser, and the back is going to be your lower down is going to be your side light. So starting off with the switch in the middle position, first thing you're going to notice is that this has a kind of an automatic lockout. If you press it once, you're just not going to get anything. You have to press and hold for roughly 1.5 seconds for the white light to come on, and press and hold again to turn off. If you press and hold longer, you're going to go from white to UV. And then once you are in, it's just going to be a simple matter of just pressing to step through all the different brightnesses. Whilst it's turned on, if you happen to flick the switch, it will just switch between the different modes. So here we have a green laser, which pretty bright, pretty clear. I am a fan of this. And then if we flick down, we get a much warmer light from the side light. And as you can see, we kind of have a, turn off for a second. We kind of have a tier style optic going on here. So you get actually quite a spotty beam, and then you can step up through the different brightnesses. And you can, of course, put it on its side so you can have full use of that side light. So the UI is pretty easy to get a hang of. There is also a full digital lockout besides this initial click, and that's just going to be a double press. A double press will lock out the light, which is acknowledged by the flashing you saw at the front, and then you're not going to get anything at all. To unlock it, you just have to double click again, and it'll go straight to on. Okay, now let's take a look at the different brightnesses and run times of the modes. I'll try and keep this visible on screen so that you can take a look. If you feel free to pause if you need to. Starting off with the front white light, we have low of 3.5 lumens for 152 hours, a middle of 55 lumens for 15 hours, and a high of 215 lumens for 4 hours 7 minutes, with a turbo or extreme bright of 2 hours 10 minutes. We don't have any step down times there, but obviously a light this size is going to step down for one reason or another, be it voltage or thermal throttling. So I obviously just assume that that's going to happen probably at some point within several minutes of the extreme brightness, and the UV is going to last for 50 hours. Coming on down to the side light, it's going to have a low of 5 lumens, and for those reading along, we're now going this way rather than that way. A middle mode of 55 lumens for 8 hours, and a high of 303 lumens for 3 hours 16 minutes. Now we do have a reference here to a red light. There's no red light function as far as I can see on this flashlight. I don't know if that's a mislabel and it's meant to be referring to the laser pointer. I'm not sure, but there is definitely no red light besides the charge indicator. Now, as you can see here, it also has 1 meter drop resistance and IPX6 water and dust resistance. Now let's get into the pros or the good points of this flashlight, and let's just start off with something I normally gripe about, and that's this USB-C port. I don't like flaps over USB-C ports. They're just a hassle to use a lot of the time, to take out, put back. They're going to fall off or perish at some point, but this is actually pretty well done. So we have a bit of a raised lip here that actually makes it really easy to get in and pull out, even if you don't have much nail to you. And then you have, yes, it is a recessed port, but there's a nice wide enough piece that you can get a wide variety of USB-C cables in here. And putting it back is also very easy. I'm very happy with the design of that. It's a very small thing, but you know, if you get annoyed every time you have to charge something that you're going to be using regularly, that adds up to irritation. That irritation creates friction, which makes you not want to use it as much. Next up is just the sheer density of all of the features in here. I mean, this is not a big light by any standard. Let's pull in for size comparison here a i5T. It's a AA real tail switch clicky, and they're pretty similar in length. This is incredibly compact considering you're getting 3 forward emitters and a side light. Now, there is going to be a little bit of a trade-off here. Obviously, everything is so dense up here, you're only going to really get this for battery. So if it was a little bigger, maybe if they didn't have the side light, you could get a bit of battery, but there's so many features, and they are all done pretty well. I would prefer to see that the side lamp was not so spotty. That doesn't really make sense to me for a side light. That's the same criticism I have with the Olight O-Clip as well. The spot just doesn't really make much sense for the kind of light, but it does still work well. It is a nice warm tint in contrast to the white, and for all of that in such a compact package, you really can't go wrong. As well as the price, I'm going to put the price in good-ish, kind of neutral. This is around 60-ish pounds, similar-ish dollars, but you can get coupons and it does occasionally go on sale. Considering how much something like an Arcfeld Pro can be, even on sale, the sheer density you're getting here, it's really good. And I really do think that is a fair price, and with a coupon included, which there is one in the description box down below, it is a good price. That is a lot of value being delivered here, and this, overall, another good point is this is a well-made light. The anodization, the construction, all feels nice and premium. You do have Torx construction. We have some Torx screws on the switch, and then one either side of the magnetic tail. And of course we have some around the sides here, which makes it very nice and easy to disassemble should you want to, instead of warrantying it or when the warranty runs out. Now, some things that we could do for improvement purposes. This clip is nice. It does work well as a headlamp, but as you can see here, the screws are not recessed, so that could potentially limit the thickness of pocket hem you could get in there. If you have a particularly thick, say, hem on your jeans pocket, you might not be able to get it all the way up there, and instead of getting this, you're going to end up more like this. It's a very minor complaint, but to be honest, all of my complaints are relatively minor apart from the UI. Now, this is annoying but fine, but they include both that and a lock mode, which is activated by the most common way to get into turbo mode, and that's just not good in my opinion. I would like, if that was changed, I think this flashlight would be far better off, and if it included a way to get to low and turbo and included a moonlight mode, I think that would really round this flashlight out. But if you can deal with the UI, this is an excellent light that is definitely worth the price, and I can solely recommend it. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Feel free to check out that link and coupon code. Until next time, I've been Paul. Please subscribe, it helps the channel. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.